Tiffany has been taking care of, making sure that the folks are here. Did anybody read the prior month's minutes?
Have you got a copy of it?
No, I don't print a copy out, because I send them an email, and that way we save money on the paper,
Okay.
okay?
I did, I read them.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept.
Thank you. I need a second.
Second.
Any opposed? And Allison is just got married, so I don't have a treasurer report right now. Old business, the grant for the handicap parking, I've been working on that this morning. The city has an open grant out there that has to be closed before our grant will be looked at, and then we have to find the deeds to the actual property that we need to work on, and I've been working on that today, and I haven't been able to find it. Haven't heard from Bass Pro. That's a $10,000 grant that we may or may not be qualified for. Still looking for donations to fix the bathrooms in the Fine Art Building. The Livestock Committee is still in the processes of updating rules and regulations, and then the budget. And I did find out that the appropriation bill did pass, and so it looks like that the fair is going to get about $14,000. I emailed Patrick Fisk this morning to find out whether or not that was true. Otherwise, we're due to get $8,726 from the state. Our repair list keeps growing. And that's all the old business that we have. And now then, the fun part. Is Justin here? He's not here. Ms. Hadley Horton is our recipient of one of our scholarships. And Ms. Hadley was our junior fair queen. And she was also, went to state. She was top 16 at state. And she has been with her Nana and helping them with the fair since she was, what, 7? Somewhere around 7? Yep. And she's going to be going to the University of Arkansas Tech, sorry. And she'll be going into the nursing program at Arkansas Tech. And so she received one of our scholarships, and Justin is not here. So, did you get your picture, Mom? Okay. All right. You're welcome. Justin Deckard was also one of our recipients of a $300, and he was supposed to be here. Cole Harness is on vacation. We will mail him his stuff, and Zoe Watts is on vacation, and we will mail her stuff. So that's the fun part.
So how much money did we give in scholarships?
We gave $300 a piece, and the reason we were able to do that is because we got an anonymous donation last year during the pageant. And so that pushed us up to where we had enough money that we could give 4 scholarships this year.
4 at 400 apiece?
4 at $300 apiece. So what they do is they send us their transcript from their college, from the registrar, or their trade school, and then we'll give them the first 150, and then the next semester we'll give them another 150. So, and they're free to do with that with whatever. I strongly suggest you buy you a good stethoscope. Okay, not a cheap one. If you want to know the name brand, I'll let you know the name brand. Okay, and I got confused on the hours for volunteer time. It's 20 hours, not 24. I don't know where that came from. Anyways, it's 20 hours. And then let's talk about the premium board versus the fair board. The fair board and the premium board are 2 different, totally distinct entities. The premium board does their thing, and the fair does its thing. And we don't combine money, we don't combine anything that goes along with that. So when you're collecting money, make sure that they know that it's fair versus the junior livestock premium auction or the premium board. In order to save a lot of confusion when we were working on the on the book, anything that has to pertain to premium is only for premium board. We took it, it's either ribbons or ribbon money or fair checks. It's not premium. So maybe that will, solve that particular issue. And then I've had the question of why do we have the premium board rules in the fair book? Since the premium board has nothing to do with the fair, and I've been asked if we could take the premium rules out of the fair book. So that's up to the voting members. And if you wanna keep it in there, that's fine. If you wanna take it out, that's fine as well.
What's the pros and cons? I mean,
It's
for somebody
confusing.
who doesn't, who
Yeah, you,
doesn't know.
it's confusing to the people because there's two sets of money. There's premium board, auction, livestock, jackpot money. Then there's fair check money. Now, the premium board gets a lot more donations than the fair does. So there's a lot more money in that premium board than there are at the fair level. So the money that comes from the fair comes from the money that we get from the state.
Okay.
Okay, if you call it a fair premium check, it sounds like it's premium board. And I've had a lot of people that had confusion over whether or not.
So if you take the premium, I'm talking about what's in the fair book.
Mhm.
If you take that out, then what? Then what?
Well,
The reason it was put in, if you wanna know, is
Mhm.
because we had people who would say, why did my kid get in the
Mhm.
sale? And
Well-
so they wanted to know the rules.
well, Paula made a good point, is whenever they register, or when they come in to weigh their animals, they can hand them the premium sale rules. And then that way, if you're premium eligible, cause then it gets into it gets into confusion of are you premium eligible or not? And I don't know enough about the eligibility to actually talk about it. But if they're premium eligible and they come into the fair and they go through the livestock, do whatever's up there, then they could give them the rules.
Well, I'll tell you, Pam, you need to leave it in there, 'cause that's part of the fair. You know, it ain't no big deal, you need to leave it in
Well,
there. I'm
That's up
just
to
telling
our-
you, you need to leave it in there, because it's always been in there. Why do you wanna change it up in the first place?
I didn't say I did.
Well,
I said
evidently-
I was asked.
You
Why
know,
was
there
it
ain't
in the
nobody
premium?
Gonna ask you that, I mean, most people.
Oh, yeah,
don't.
oh, yeah, I was asked.
You know, you need to leave it in there.
Whoa.
You need to leave it in there, it's all I'm voicing my opinion.
Leisha, you got the floor.
Well, thank you. I'm real new to the situation here. Very,
Mhm.
very new, and I'm trying to learn
Mm-hmm.
as to what would be, okay, leaving it in there is one person's opinion, taking it out is another person's opinion, and whose opinion carries more weight?
The
Wow.
voting members of the fair carry the weight. It's up to our
The
voting
members
members.
of the fair.
I make a
Okay,
motion
the
that
voting
we leave it in
members
the
of the
fair
fair.
book.
Okay.
I think a motion needs to be made before we discuss it, so.
Okay. You'll second that? Okay, we'll leave it in.
Whitney, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said,
Well,
honey.
I just made a motion to leave the premium rules in the
In
fair book.
In the fair book, and so then,
And she seconded it, and so we can have discussion now. and vote on
Okay.
it.
But it's, yeah. Okay, so now then we're down to the born and raised and owned. And here's a suggestion, that we have two classes, one for born, raised, and owned, and one for bred and born.
Okay, so that's not what they're called. I make a motion that we, table this Searcy County Born and Bred show until next fall and discuss it then. We've had some controversy about it, and the rules in the minutes are different than the rules that were presented.
That's because I was presented with a different set of rules. So,
By whom?
if they want to be acknowledged, they have the opportunity to do that right now, okay? So do you want to just table this until
That's my motion.
2025?
That's my motion.
What is the reason why we don't want it in there?
Huh?
What is the reason why we don't want it in there? Or why don't we want it?
Because there's conflict in the rules of making and the rules that Whitney presented to us first are not the rules that ended up in the minutes.
How do you vote on to get the rules like that was presented to you then?
We can discuss that. She's wanting to table it till 2025.
We have to have, is there a second on that first of all?
No, I haven't got a second yet. Is anybody gonna, any of my voting members want a second to table the born, raised, and owned versus the born and bred? Because the problem, the issue that people are having with this is that it's not a separate show. It's a class. And they don't, because I don't know how we're going to do.
So it's already,
This is different. This is
okay. I'm not familiar with
A born, we have a born and bred class already. But this, you're wanting to do it differently.
We have a bred and owned class in the
Right.
yearbook, and that's one that it has to be a registered animal,
Mhm.
and the kid has to bred it, and they have to have owned it from the beginning.
Mhm.
This is any animal in Searcy County can be purchased by any kid in Searcy County. It just has to be a Searcy County. Conceived and. I was just telling the difference in the two. The
Well,
bred-
I will second her motion to table.
Okay. Okay, moving forward. I was contacted by Newton County, when we thought that we were gonna have the talent show, we were contacted by a Newton County family who had a child who wanted to be in our talent show. So I called Newton County, Philip Campbell, and talked to him about whether or not that would be okay with Newton County if we let her come into the talent show only. And he was okay with that. But I needed to bring it to the voting members to see if we have a talent show again, if this is going to be okay with our voting members for talent show only. That's not livestock, it has nothing to do with the pageant, it just has to do with talent. But we didn't have a talent show, because nobody signed up, except for one little guy.
So it's.
It's really a moot point at this point, but I told him I'd put it on the ballot and told him that I would bring it to the board and see what you guys said. And so, and then in that conversation, Newton County allows youth with grandparents living in the county to exhibit in the Newton County Fair. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So,
I think that you can show in Van Buren County whether you go to school or live down there or whatever, can't you?
You shall open in there.
No, I don't think yours is that.
no, this is their junior livestock.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You can't show them both places.
So,
So did that little girl did she want to?
she wanted to come down and participate in our talent show because.
And she was gonna do it in.
No, they don't have a talent show
Oh,
in
they
Newton
don't
County.
have it.
No, they don't have a talent show, and she wanted to participate. And so, I knew that the talent show was gonna be before we had this meeting, so I was gonna get you guys together and just do some sort of recognition that it would be okay.
Well,
But,
I'm not a voting member, but this would be my 2 cents worth on that, because you have so few people who enter the talent show, and it's always been that way. I would, just to increase participation, I would say that'd be fine. That's just my opinion.
it's up to,
It's just the talent show.
just the talent show.
Okay.
Okay, can I get a second? Tiffany will second, Beth approved, and Tiffany second. Do we wanna discuss having grandparents living in the county to exhibit in the livestock show and in the fair?
You say if your county doesn't have a talent
Right.
show.
Yeah.
Is this gonna address, somebody asked? From, what town?
From here. About if the grandparent owned the farm and owned the cow and they had a grandchild that was somewhere else, could they be like Newton County or show?
Is the child going to work with animals?
Good question.
So,
Good
I would say
question.
you're opening a can of worms, leave it alone.
Okay, we're gonna table that one.
I think that kind of opens it up to.
I mean, the open is
grandparents,
already.
You got aunts and uncles and, you know what I mean? Like, I think that kind of opens the can of worms.
Yeah, okay. Parking's gonna be an issue, and I didn't know this, but the parking area across down here between the, Mexican restaurant and, Marshall Milling, apparently Chad has been paying $100 to Luis to have the trailers parked down there, all of that. But now then they've got that blocked off, and they did that during the FFA rodeo. So, we're gonna have to come up with some creative ideas for parking. Anybody got a golf cart? So we can carry people back and forth from the old fiberglass place? Anyways, think about that and see if anybody can come up with some ideas on what's gonna happen, because parking's gonna be a huge issue during the fair. And that's all that I have.
I'm sorry, what did you say, ma'am?
That's all I have. Okay? I mean, I can go over our dates with you if you wanna know the dates. Other than that, I am ready to adjourn this meeting.
What's the dates? What's the date of the thing?
The dates of the fair will be the September the 2nd through September the 7th. 2nd through 7th. Yes, Steve?
I met with Kelly Dennis, talking about the insurance policy. Well, he met with me, and said they're not.
You just come to listen? Okay. Well, I can tell you what's happened with the fair. And I can tell you that we discussed this at the last meeting. The insurance that we had prior had a $25,000 deductible if anything happened to our buildings. Okay, we had limited liability. Now, if we had, general liability, we had a written on and admitted basis in most states, broadened coverage form, non-audible policy, no deductible, this is all for liability. Legal liability to participants, volunteer accident, fair volunteers, volunteers as additional insured, contingent ride liability, fireworks liability, liquor liability, motorsports liability, vendor and exhibitor coverage, employee benefits liability. What we had was equipment breakdown, which we don't have any equipment, and emergency vacating expenses covered up to $25,000, crisis response coverage up to $25,000, full building ordinance A coverage, I'm not sure what that is, inland marine, commercial auto, crime, excess liability, workman's comp, events cancellation, and non-appearance. Now what we have is full liability through the municipalities. Our buildings are covered that are being paid for, and we have a $1,000 deductible, and we have no cap. So if this building was to burn down and it cost us $500,000, there's no cap. Where in this one, if this building burned down, we would have to have $25,000 deductible up front, if it would even cover that, because we had wind and hail, but we did not have anything to do with fire or anything along those lines. So that's the reason the decision was made to change the insurance. And this did go to the executive board, and the executive board did vote to change the insurance.
And the insurance is the biggest expense.
Yes,
that we see in
yes,
this, in this fair.
Yes,
And so, how are we gonna keep that kind of insurance unless that we manage to bring in a whole lot more money than what we bring in?
we have to have donations, that's all there is to it. Cause right now, the way it looks, that the electric, the water, and the insurance for a year is $16,800. When we pay Ronnie for the mowing, and I figured that at $300 a month for 7 months, that's $2,100. Propane is $400 to $500, plus we have a tank rental. Then we have the fair managers meeting that we are mandated to go to, and that's $1,700 off the top of our state money. Our ribbon money is gonna be $3,500, that will be our fair checks. Our ribbons, and that was gone to the executive board, our ribbons are gonna run about $2,000, that's where I'm hoping that we can keep, and we'll probably have to order in 2025. Our total expenditures for the year is $26,000. The state is gonna give, at this time, the state was gonna give us $8,726. Now, we may get $1,400, I don't know, and I won't know that till that check comes through. So we have a deficit of $17,273.74 per year. That means that we have to make $1,440 per month in fundraising. Now, we were doing real well with with the fish fries. So we were pulling in $1,000 a month on the fish fries. Then people started telling we were serving raw fish. We dropped down to $500.
It wasn't raw fish.
It wasn't raw. It was just a rumor that got started. Then the rumor got started that we were charging too much money for our plates. Then the fish fries dropped down to $250. Okay, you can't buy a box of fish at $90, $60 to $90 a box and only bring in $250. So then we got the turkeys donated. And Beth, out of the goodness of her heart, said, let's make a turkey dinner. We did. We made $1,300. But, you know, we have to have money coming in every month, because if we don't, we're not sustainable. We even discussed in the last meeting of shutting these buildings down during the year. Shutting everything down, just set it down, turn off the water, turn off the electricity, just do that in order to save the money every month. But we still have the insurance coming in, and we still have to go and pay to have all of the utilities rehooked. So there's no answer, there's no good answer. Yes,
How much money did we get from the gun show that was here a couple weeks ago?
$390.
That's all.
That's all. That's what she rented the facility for.
You don't get a percentage, she just pays her part of the rent.
This she did this time. The last couple of times she gave us a percentage, but this time she wanted a number. And when I figured it up, it was $390.
And we done the beauty pageant, but we didn't have that many.
We did the beauty pageant, and we made a little bit of money, but that went into the scholarship fund because the pageant had already been set up for the scholarship. If the talent show had gone, that money would have gone into the general fund. So money is the issue.
And what was the thought about shutting the buildings down and just having them open, during the fair?
During the fair. But then, when you do that though, and everybody knows that when you shut a building down and you're not in it all the time and you don't have electric going to it, they go down real quick.
Well, it seems to me like the biggest majority of, the interested parties are only interested during the fair, and they probably wouldn't care if the fair buildings would shut down or not, correct? That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
I would have to agree. But those are hard decisions that have to be made.
Then how much does it cost to rehook your electric and water back up?
Well, I don't know what it would cost to hook the water. I hadn't looked into that, but it's like, I wanna say it's a couple of $100, and we have 3 meters on this property. We have the meter for this building, we have the meter for the barn, we have the meter for the horticulture building. And then we have 1 water meter that services both sides.
How does
Barn
that
and-
impact the insurance?
Huh?
How does that impact the insurance?
Well, it probably will impact the insurance. If the water and the electricity is turned off to the buildings, then the insurance will probably be null and void.
Mm.
But I don't know that. That's a good question.
But that still don't cover if a storm hits your insurance. You're not covered at all then. Lightning, tornado, whatever, hail. So you'd be,
The insurance on the
We
bond.
keep the insurance and somehow or other you come up with, on the average of $1,500 a month. Or,
Yeah.
You can't cook enough dinners hardly
No,
to
well-
to bring $1,500 a month in here.
Well, and this, whenever when I was sending information to the senators and the representatives and the governor over what it costs to run a fair, especially if you don't, I mean, there's some fairs that are really fortunate that another entity owns the fairgrounds. And so they just go in and they rent it for a week and then they leave and they don't have to have the upkeep. So, but whenever you're a fair like ours and we are responsible for keeping this place open and going, it's hard. And that was that's the reason I know AYE is a sore subject with everybody, but they're getting $48,000 and Searcy County Fair is getting $14,000 if we're lucky. I haven't seen the check yet. I'm hoping that we get $14,000. So, I mean, that was a big bone of contention for me because AYE doesn't have to do what we have to do. They don't have to go to fair managers. They don't have to do, and they're not under audit. So
That's just the way that the cookie crumbles
That's
as
right.
far as a lot of stuff goes. Bottom line, this place needs money and who's willing to put their time and money back into this county?
that's right,
Time and money.
right. I know Robert and I made several donations to this fair over the last year. And it's all tax deductible. So, I mean, it's a 501(c)(3). So it's all tax deductible. What does that mean? That means that drops your gross income down so that whenever you get ready to file your taxes, it's not as much. So anything that you donate to the fair, now buying a fair book ad doesn't count. But if you wanna donate money to the fair, and you tell me what you want that money to go to, because as a 501(c)(3), we have to know where you want your money to go.
And all monies that are donated to, like giving the kids the monies for their animals, does not pay a light bill, does it?
No.
Or water bill,
No.
or anything
No,
else?
nor maintenance on the barn.
Okay. Did y'all realize that?
Are there any other grants out there?
My goodness, Julie. I'm on several clearinghouses that I've got the fair on. So the problem with the grant is they're grant specific. They're not for general maintenance or they're not to pay the bills with. It's the reason I filled out that grant for Cabela's Bass Pro is because it's for general maintenance. You can use it for anything you wanna use it for. And the grant that I did trying to get more handicap parking, that's specific. I mean, you've gotta be specific of what you're gonna use your money for. So,
Can we discuss that?
what do you wanna discuss, Lee?
Well, I really didn't quite understand the legalities of tabling that discussion that I seconded for Whitney Kent, and I'm a little better educated in what that means now. I didn't realize that would table it until completely next year. Okay?
Oh, I mean, with the premium, whether or not the rules go in the book, is that what you're talking about? Well, we can bring it up next meeting.
Okay.
I mean, all you gotta do is tell me to put it on the agenda and I will.
Thank you, would you please do
Yep.
that, and I'm gonna educate myself a little better.
Which I think the one that you seconded about tabling it till next year was the one about the cattle show, the red.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm
not the
talking
rules
about.
and
I'd like to educate myself a little bit more before I
Yeah.
completely say table it or
Well,
not.
the reasoning behind that, Whitney said, was because she just doesn't feel there's enough time. Because somebody's got to manage that program.
So if we need time, so.
You gotta have ear tags, you gotta have either a SFA advisor or a 4-H agent on board to
So what if somebody took care of that?
talk to an FFA about it. He's willing to
He's
do it.
on board.
He's
You
on
have the
board.
tags to do it,
Yeah, I mean, we got the source.
the funds. We need to
Why
have
are
that.
you worried about the funds
It's
for?
gotta have a fair book, what prize money you're getting, because that's got to be separate.
Yeah.
It is gonna be separate. We've got the funds.
The rules are different. Who made the rules up?
Who made the rules are different?
Yeah, the rules on the minutes are different. Like it's.
You want me to
called-
read them?
We don't know what rules are going, but it's different.
It's called the, Bred and Born Program Community Sponsored.
Right. We don't know what the rules are.
Wouldn't it be like
Is that what you're
talk
saying,
about it
Amy?
at the next meeting?
The rules that you had, is that what you're saying?
It's different than what was presented previously, what's in the minutes.
Because those rules got shut down while we heard, so we made different rules and.
$20,
Again,
that $20 per head.
that you guys are saying are struggling for fair, that's going to be fair, 100% fair. We don't get none of that money, we don't want none of that money, we want that to go straight to the fair.
Right. I don't know, that seems a little high. Boone County charges $12.
Well, that's for the barn maintenance. All that money will go for barn maintenance.
Didn't the fair go to $20 per animal that you, in and out? It's $20 now. So that's where the $20 comes from. We were just matching their funds to help them. All we wanna do is help this fair a little bit more with some more money.
I get it. I mean, I want
I
to
mean,
do
we're
it.
not trying to beat nobody up here, take nobody down. I mean, we just want to bring some more money to this
Yeah,
fair.
I think there was a, confusion about what it was.
Well, but, I mean,
There still is.
Is this the one that Bradley Ragland was talking about?
No, it's the one that's in the
Cause
evening.
he was
It's a
wanting
totally
to
separate show.
give a animal to a kid. An enter that wouldn't be one that they had down and raised themselves, it would be from somebody
That
else.
would be a good animal to put in that show though.
If they bred it and owned it themselves, though.
I mean, that's what Bradley
And
had,
and Bradley did.
yeah, Bradley presented it here to us.
A couple years ago or.
He wants to give one to a
We talked to
kid
Bradley a bunch.
that he has
Yeah,
raised.
yeah, but it wouldn't be qualified for this.
Yes, it would be.
How would it
It's
qualify
not
for
bred
this?
in, because it's
It's a
not
Searcy
bred,
County
it's
corn.
not
It
bred.
doesn't matter who breeds it.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Bred and owned has to be a registered animal in the Fairwood right now.
Right.
This would be a totally separate show, and it can be a commercial animal. It doesn't have
Not
to
a
be.
show,
But
we
it
just
doesn't
want
have to
a
be,
class,
the
though.
child doesn't have to do the work.
We don't want a show, we just want a class.
Yeah, the kid would do the
Oh,
work.
see,
That's what they're saying.
I mean, that's what Bradley was wanting to do.
Yeah, Bradley's is different.
They said it would be a show at a different time.
But Bradley's animals
That's what
would
this
be eligible.
discussion was tonight, just to add a.
The reason it got not, the reason that people were not for it was because it was a show. If we change it to a class, I think everybody's okay with it.
Have some local kids out that can't afford hot around.
They just would be like premium animals, that's just like a separate show.
It's just a separate class we're gonna pull off at.
So you guys are just wanting the class.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just at the-
And they wanna have a charge for that class, so that the money that's taken from that can go back into the barn.
Minus the judge, gotta pay a judge.
He's already here.
He's already here.
Yeah.
Is it? You gotta have a separate judge for that judge.
Why?
We know.
They show the open show. They
It's,
judge the open show.
it's class, it's just be like a dam and daughter, or, bull and the son, it's just a class.
Just like the open show, the judge shows up, I mean, he judged the open, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's what I,
Is this for all species?
no.
No.
It's in here, I mean, just,
Just cattle.
They're just wanting cattle
we're just wanting cattle only.
Cause we already have born and bred in the other species.
and others already.
Yeah.
And it's just a class.
Yeah.
And that's what he was talking, just a class.
Which
And then-
there's born and bred in cattle too, already.
But nobody
They
really
don't do the
showed it.
class for it.
It doesn't say Searcy County, and that was the issue with the born and bred. It wasn't Searcy County only.
It's bred
Bred and
mountain,
owned.
bred mountain.
It's not born and bred.
So, and born and bred, you're saying
And
like,
that's registered
it
on.
doesn't have to
like, I could breed it and give it to a kid as long as it was in
As long as
Searcy County?
it's on this soil, this county.
Okay, and was there any, are we worried about any proof of that?
That's what, I filled out an affidavit and presented it in November. So the kid would fill out that affidavit.
We're here for the kids, cuz.
Before I-
No, I think on it, we're gonna teach
There's
the
a lot,
kids.
trust me.
I mean, I understand.
No,
that.
trust me, and
At the end of the
honestly,
day,
not to be rude, but the cattle was probably last year, that was the only problem we had, was cattle.
at the end of the day, it's for the kids. I mean,
Oh, I get it.
we need to step aside and put our vendettas, whatever we got, and these kids take it.
Well, see, that's what we try to do.
Okay. I think that all of you that are interested in the Born and Bred program, or Born and Owned, or however you wanna put it, I think you all need to get together and figure out what you wanna do, and then let us know what you wanna do.
Will that be enough time?
I thought we done voted on this about being in class.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's,
And then if there's enough interest this year,
Yeah.
if kids want to go into actual show, you're more welcome to bring for that next year. But this short time, I would think,
I think it, I
do
mean,
the class and see how it does.
I think if you put it in as a class and you get together and modify your rules, how you want them to go, and then let's see how it goes this year, and then,
They
I
will have
mean,
multiple classes based on weight.
Mhm.
So it's not just like one class.
I'm learning, Whitney, I'm learning.
I mean, it's not gonna affect the fair the way they're talking. I mean, cause we're not doing ribbons or anything, it's just gonna take a little time.
They'll get money.
And when we look at the
Yeah, but not
schedule,
from
we,
us.
Not from, right, that's from
Yeah,
cattlemen's,
all we're
whatever.
doing is taking a little time up there with the judge.
You guys paying $20 for every animal that ain't in that fair.
And that's what we like.
For that class, yes.
Extra for that class.
Yep. And it goes straight to that fair.
so are we gonna go back and revisit this, or are we still tabling it?
I don't want,
You don't wanna table it?
I don't wanna table it, I wanna take whatever I said back.
No takebacks here.
Okay.
She renews.
All right, so we wanna pursue, but we need to work on the rules, is that what we're saying now?
What rules do we not like in that?
You'll have to have classes and the name change, I guess. I don't know.
Are you over the last?
I found them, Whitney. I knew I had them, I didn't know where they were.
This was the original proposal.
You have the affidavit?
No, I don't have that thing. Anybody else want one of these?
Was the original proposal?
Very good.
Well, Whitney, what are you interested in on the classes, the weight classes, or, I mean, how are you
There
going to
could
break
be
that up
multiple
or whatever?
classes.
Huh?
There could be multiple classes.
Yeah, he's saying like what, how you.
How would you want to break it
Well, I
up?
proposed by weight, but I don't know what,
Or do you wanna do like steers and then
it's just heavy.
just have that, okay?
Because all the born and bred we've ever shown in is just, it's all one.
Yeah, now you wanna do
One.
like Angus and separate from.
It's by weight.
Just by weight, and that's one separation. Because you're already half the weights already.
Well,
From the,
you may not if it's a registered animal.
No,
They'll have
there's
to
no
do it.
comparison between like
Right.
a yearling versus.
See,
Yes
ours
and
is
no.
under 2 years,
if
and that's
they're
the only
different,
way.
they're different. Yeah, but that's what this is under 2, that's what, but just.
So I think the road rules are pretty much the same, except that up to 2 heifers per exhibitor. We just said one kid.
And this may be a bad question, I don't know, I just know how the area does work. Like, we don't do it by weight because we just don't do it by weight, but like, say a 3-month-old calf weighs as much as a 5 or 6-month-old calf. Does that matter?
It's just divided by weight, they have to be 4 months old to enter anyway.
That would be like 4
4
months?
months, but it's just divided by weight.
And
It's
if you
just
just
like
have a big old 4-month calf, you're okay with it going up against the euro? I don't know weight, so, okay.
It's not likely to happen.
Right.
But yeah.
So what do you guys wanna do?
We need to know.
There's a lot of, I know you're wondering what they're all talking about back here, and they're just wondering, is there insurance on the barn?
If they're not, they ain't gonna be able to show.
If there's not, are we gonna be able to have a fair? That's what the
There is
murmur
insurance.
is back here.
They cost us a lot of money every month.
On the barn money?
I have to talk to Misty to find out. Because I know that we had,
Tell them, Kevin, come on, man, tell them what you told me and Steve. Right now, get it over with.
It was brought up in front of city council. Insurance has to be on the buildings to keep the city covered from liabilities. Now, me personally, and this is me, I would want insurance on my buildings. I mean, I pay about $7,000 a month for the city, or I don't, but the city does, for insurance. And that's not even counting the fire trucks, and that's just the building structure. But it has to be covered to cover the fair, but yet more importantly, as far as the city council is concerned, it will have to be covered for liability issues.
I need donations. I
What I've
need
been sitting there
donations.
listening to, and they're talking about these cows, and it's way over my head, and that's none of my business.
But Kevin, doesn't the fire department, don't they pay their own insurance too? Don't they get money and they give it back to the city to pay for the insurance over the buildings at the fire station? Is that
They are
right?
starting in July.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
They'll collect their tax money that they get coming in,
Mhm.
and every expense that the fire department has for all the fire trucks, their fuel, propane, everything like that, all their insurances will be taken out of their tax
Right.
that they have.
And that was the reason for the for that,
Yes.
yes, to get that paid.
Police is the same way. I
Yep.
mean, their vehicles that they get, their fuel they use, if it's maintenance, if it's salaries that they have, all that tax money has come out of that. The city does not touch none of it. It's strictly for them two departments.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
What I'm listening to and stuff, and this is, like I said, it's an idea. You said something about $14,000 that the state gives.
Maybe this year.
Maybe. That was my question. Is this a guarantee, and what is it usually every year?
Well, it was $867 is what they had given us as a total from fair managers in January, and 8,000, okay. And so we thought that we were only gonna get 8,000. The governor sent an amendment to the appropriation joint committee at the legislation, and told them that they would increase the fair's money. So that bill passed. So we went from all the fairs in Arkansas getting about 400,000 to almost 900 and something, almost $1 million that will be divided. When they broke that down per fair, it looks like Searcy County is going to get 14,000. But like I said, until that money hits the deposit, I'm still holding my breath.
Is that your construction money?
No, construction money's gone.
That's premium money?
That is premium, if you wanna call it premium money, that's the fair, that's what the fair is gonna get.
But you can use that for your
Yes.
insurance and stuff like that.
Right, we can use that for,
Well, how you gonna buy your ribbon money and stuff like that?
A good
Pay out
question.
to the people that enter the fair.
good question. We gotta take money out of that 14,000.
Well, you ain't got enough to pay
That's
the
right,
insurance
I need
to do that.
donations.
So you can't do that, you know, if you don't give people money for the entry, you ain't gonna have no fair.
Well,
Is that
we
what
have
you
set,
want?
we have set money aside, Don, for that particular time,
That's
okay?
why we're having this dance and stuff, trying to raise money to pay bills.
change if we get the
Will you just be
14,000.
short 3,000?
No, we'll be short, let me see if I can figure out. Short 9,000, yeah. We'll still be short about $9,000 to $10,000 for the year, $9,000 to $10,000.
19,000?
9 to 10.
Oh, 9 or 10, I'm sorry. I can't
Okay,
remember.
now, if we can have enough dinners, I don't think we can, cause we can't do them every month, cause everybody gets tired of them, they don't wanna come and eat. That's one thing. Beth's gonna go take around our raffle for our $500, gift certificate to Marshall Milling, and if we've got 100 of those at $20, so that should bring us in about 1,500. And then, I mean, it's not for the lack of trying, but
Can participants fundraise?
yeah, anybody can fundraise.
Well, Kevin, did the city say,
He's not listening.
Kevin, did the city
Oh,
council?
I'm sorry.
Has the city council,
Huh?
I don't ever know what goes on the city council because the newspaper doesn't ever print anything about it, but did the city council say, have they met? Have they voted that if there's no insurance, there'd be no?
They did say that we have met, it was discussed, city council said they will be insurance on the buildings to cover as a liability.
But if they have no money to pay it with, what's that mean?
It needs to be covered. And this is where I'm listening.
I mean, I know,
What?
I'm not
Okay, one
blaming you
second.
because you can only do what the city tells you to do.
Right, and that's what I'm representing. I'm here because city council says, you know, hey, we need to address this, we need to get stuff straightened out, so.
So you'll have to go back and tell the city, well, they don't have no money.
Well, okay, so before, you said that the buildings and stuff were insured, but there was a $25,000 deductible. So, how much was that insurance?
It went up to 6,000.
A year? And,
But the buildings, that was only for hail and wind. It wasn't for fire, it wasn't for anything else.
it wasn't for fire at all? Cause I'm just thinking, if something happened like that, and it's covered, and you have a $20,000 deductible or $25,000, I'm sure to keep a fair going, the community's gonna come together and raise that deductible.
Well, why won't the community come together now and help pay for the insurance
Well,
that
you
we
can't,
have?
you can't ask somebody, you can't beat a dead horse.
And
You
it's
can't
not-
just keep
it's-
on asking for money month after month after month after month. That's a lot, I mean, that's a lot of money for insurance.
You know, the city's only concerned with liability, soon. And
Right,
so
liability.
is it possible to
It's
get just a
$987 a
liability
month.
policy?
That's what it is a month.
With a $1,000 deductible now?
Yes, and no cap.
Which they had the insurance before, there was a $25,000 deductible.
And a cap.
We didn't have none for a long time.
And then, well, there was some.
How much was that a month for $25,000 deductible?
13 years.
It was, it went up to $6,000
But
a
when you
year,
were here,
but
they
it
had-
was fair insurance.
Yeah, no, not before Dawn, but.
Ma'am, is it
Never.
possible to get just a liability policy to satisfy the city?
No,
As far
I
as
have
know,
talked
I
to,
can-
I have talked to Farm Bureau, I have talked to Shelter Insurance, I have talked to a company down in Little Rock that only insures nonprofits. They said no. I talked to another company in Clinton, they said no. I have, let's see, 5, there's another one. I've talked to at least 5 different insurance companies trying to get coverage on the building so that it's not, they're covered. And every time. And the only insurance that I could get that was liability and coverage for the buildings at a good enough deductible was through the city. I mean, it's not like I just went up to Kevin and said, hey, listen, I need some insurance, and he said, well, here's this and that and that. I mean, I did my due diligence. Because I knew that if anything happened, trying to get $25,000 was going to be nearly impossible, because we didn't have it.
I just feel like it could be, if something happened, I think that could be raised easier than going month to month to month and asking people for thousands of dollars every month.
But I kinda agree on that, but that insurance policy,
Right, yeah,
Only
I
covered.
didn't, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know about that, I just thought if you could get one with a higher deductible.
And y'all being two different entities,
Mhm.
and this is a suggestion that it needs to be addressed, because both entities need to remember one thing, we're here for the kids.
That's right.
And this is what's most important, is these kids to learn, and that's what it's about.
So my question
But
has not been answered.
If you've, I don't know how much the premium raise, I don't know how much the fare raise, I don't care.
The money
That's
we
none of my
raise
business.
is not for us, it
Goes
But-
straight to the kids.
it's,
I understand
has to
that.
go directly to
But
the kids,
yet,
we don't have any control
your-
over that.
It doesn't pay.
Your rules and regulations are in this book, I heard said, and I couldn't tell you because I don't look at it, but, it would be a suggestion that a percentage of what you come in is gonna be something that they need to help pay for the insurance, because again, you may be using this 1 week.
To do
Out of
that,
a
we would
year.
have to fundraise against her,
You already do though.
but the money, because
No,
the money.
we don't keep any money, every
Our
penny goes to the kids.
sponsors-
I understand that.
Our
No, you
sponsors
don't.
just, they donate to the kids.
They don't, the only reason we get donations is for, they give it to the kids.
And the kid's
Right,
supposed to go
but-
and get their own.
Your bylaws says you can.
No, we abolished that,
Yeah, those have been abolished.
that's been abolished,
The 3%,
we abolished that.
Yeah,
Well, it's
100%
something that
goes to
you
the
need to
kids.
think about, because your
Because-
sponsors are for them kids, and them kids are coming to Searcy County Fair.
We had a sponsor when we withheld 3%, we had a sponsor throw a fit and she never gave a dime anymore, she was done.
cause she wanted all of it to go to
She
kids.
thought it always was
That's not,
kids.
I mean, there's other reasons too, people don't donate, but that's none of my business.
she made it
But
pretty
I've
clear.
been, yeah,
just curious,
But-
when did that get abolished?
Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
I think so. I don't remember.
I thought it was long.
Yeah, I did too.
It's been a while. It's
Yeah.
whenever we quit having the.
I remember the meeting was at the Mexican restaurant.
So my question is the barn and the show arena insured?
No,
it has been, but at this time, no.
So are we gonna get to have a fair?
It has been.
I want us to say that, people need to come together for the kids and get some insurance.
So no insurance, no fare.
I can't say that, that'd be on city council, but they done said that they wanted insurance on the buildings for liability issues.
Can we do like an event insurance?
We can do whatever you want to do to raise money.
You mean like just have insurance for that week or something?
No,
For barns.
Is that possible?
Cause you know, they do it for
If
big
you have-
shows.
I'm sorry,
No, you're fine.
but if you do it for 1 week, what if lightning hits? I mean,
Well, I'm just saying
Well,
the barn,
just for the barn.
for the barns.
Yeah, but if lightning hits it and it burns and you've got insurance for 1 week and it's gone.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think there's enough people that would build a barn insurance.
I think so.
If I'm guessing that barn would probably cost 35, 40,000 to build. You're gonna donate a lot of labor and material and stuff, but like I said, it's still gonna cost. I just don't like seeing division. I think everybody ought to work together, because you're here because of kids, and that's it. That's the main reason you're here, is for them kids to come, show their cows, and to learn about cows, goats, pigs, chickens, ducks, whatever. But it's something that needs to work between everybody.
So how much money's the fair got?
right now,
Yeah, right now.
I don't know, because Allison is
What
on.
you had last month?
Huh?
What you had last month?
Can you get into my email? I can tell you that we've got $3,300 that we brought in on fair ads.
All I wanna know is how much money you got total. I mean, you can look it up and see.
Hey, while she's looking, when's the next premium board meeting?
I don't think one's set. We don't have a regular schedule, let's meet as, and you did, usually we meet, right before the fair to assign people list of names to contact.
So the
We let
premium
you
board
know.
does all the, you do all the
We
looking
do-
for donations and
we
do all
do
the
all the-
fundraising for the board, for the,
We do all the legwork.
for the kids that are showing their animals. So that's what the
And up to
premium
the
board
day
does.
before the fair, we really don't know who's coming or not coming.
We have some people say they don't make me walk, so they don't show
Yeah.
up.
Right.
But now, we meet the night after the show, see how much money we got, see how many kids.
In the general account in April, we had $5,000. In the premium account, we had $700. And the
Okay.
scholarship count, we can't touch. But now
So how
that,
much is the kitchen count? Have you got it?
we don't have a
now?
kitchen account anymore.
Okay, you
We
just-
rolled it all together into the general,
Okay.
so everything goes into the general,
Okay.
Are
okay?
you renting it?
We've rented it once. No. The Hortons rented it, the class reunion rented it, and then the gun show rented it.
So, why ain't you go back on the insurance and, pay so much down and so much a month?
Well, that's what we've been doing, till
Okay,
we
well,
got
I just
into a
asked.
bind in April, in February, we got in a bind.
See, I don't know, cause I don't know what you've done, I'm asking you now. You know, you got in the bind February, okay?
Yes, we got in a bind in February, and then we started in selling ads in April. In March and April, and then we started getting money back in. So we're doing better than we were. Now, I have to go back to Misty, and I have to tell Misty that we have the money to pay, and then we have to get a hold of the insurance company and tell them that we can put the barn back on. But, it's not sustainable. Because even if we get the 14,000, we still have to make money every month in order to make it sustainable. There are no answers. And if we're done, can somebody adjourn us?
Does anybody have any questions for the premium board? There's several of us, we just lost one. We just lost our secretary right there. Anybody, since we're here,
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, let me adjourn the fair board meeting and you guys can do, okay? So somebody give me a motion to adjourn the fair board.
I will.
Okay. Somebody give me a second.
I will.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any opposed?